You don't always need to just go when you have site control as an attacker. Set up the bomb site and make the enemy make the mistakes for you, so that way you can capitalize on them instead of you trying to force them to make a mistake. Just let them do what they're going to do, and they will eventually slip up at one point, and then you catch them off guard with that slip up. What is going on, you guys? A21 Mayo here, and then today I'm bringing you guys a VOD review video. It's been a minute. The videos kind of got stale for me. I didn't really want to do the VOD reviews, but they're fresh. I had a lot of fun recording this one. A lot of really important topics that can definitely help out everyone that watches this video. So if you guys enjoyed at any point during the time of watching, make sure you guys leave a like. And also leave me some feedback down below in the comment section of some things or topics that I maybe don't talk about too much that you might be confused about, or just some general questions about the game. Now, I also want to mention that the VOD form is still open, so if you guys are interested in me reviewing your gameplay, the VOD form is linked in the description, so make sure you guys go check that out. Make sure you guys fill out all the requirements, you read the requirements and all that good stuff, and submit your gameplay. But that's it for the intro. Let's jump into the VOD review. Okay, so one thing I will say, just in general, there's kind of like this, I don't know, trend I would say in Ranked right now where a lot of people feel the need to ban Thatcher, just because it's such a default thing. A lot of people fall into the habit, routine, whatever. You don't always need to ban Thatcher. I think it's a good thing for people not to ban him, so that way people don't forget how to play against him or with him, right? Because it's been a long span now where Thatcher's been banned in almost every single ranked game in, I don't know, I would say probably like Silver 1 and above, you know, low gold, high silver, something like that. So, you don't always need to ban him. Okay, so you hear the window break. I would like to see you call that out. Yeah, so he broke that window there. So I'd like to see you call that out, just, you know, so that way your teammates know as well, right? Okay, so a little piece of misinformation here. Ooh, this might be a freebie. Yeah, so good pick there. A little bit of a missed piece of information here that could definitely help you guys out a lot. You do have the Capital, which I believe he is going to use his firebolts for the drone hole here, but if you hear this, the Thermite just got bandit tricked. I believe it was the first one just a moment ago. Yeah, so right there, you hear the Thermite charge get tricked, and then you also hear the MP7. So that tells you, based off that audio cue, that the bandit has since rotated, which he was the first person in library. So what I'm getting at here is you could potentially use your nades to counter the bandit tricking here by throwing a nade in, and then exactly what you're doing now, but it's a little late now. So you're not going to get that much of a benefit out of it anymore. And yeah, see, now you've wasted both nades by the ADSs. So try to pay attention a little bit more there. That was also your teammate's fault of not really communicating something like that, but definitely an audio cue that you could have picked up on and probably had a different outcome of the round. Okay, so this is a good job here of learning from your mistakes. That's a beautiful nade. That's excellent there. You did a really good job of recognizing what the enemy did the last round, and then you can change what you're doing to put the enemy in a worse position and, you know, counter what they did last round, right? That's something that a lot of people overlook nowadays, you know, especially in the lower elo, is people don't have a response or any adaptation from their team towards the enemy, and that leads to making the same mistakes and stuff like that. So those are a really good job.
Oh, blue.
One thing I will say that you're doing a little bit too much this round is you're face checking quite a bit. I know that you understand that there's a vigil nearby, but you can tell where a vigil is based off audio. You don't always need to see the person to figure out where he is. So I would say cut down on the face checking here a little bit, just because it is quite excessive. Okay, so your primary concern should be this vigil. You shouldn't really be worrying about fireplace yet, just because you don't know exactly where he is. Also, I want to talk about something here that I just noticed. So, if you kind of see how you're like, when you change your pre-aim from, you know, this position to that position, you're kind of swiping. It's not a smooth motion. And, you know, even me, myself, I'm guilty of this as well, where I kind of skip pre-aim. Like, you see how you, like, jump from point to point to point? It should be at least a smooth motion for the most part for pre-aim, just because if you over-flick by your pre-aim, then you're going to have to readjust again and go back, because you might have jumped over the enemy with your tracking of, you know, whatever angle it might be. Okay, so you did a good job there of getting the real estate. That was a good pick. So you know one's going to be blue here. And then Vigils might come down blue, west main. So, you should be suspecting main stairs or west main here. So now you should be looking west main, because Capitao has blue. And that was also a really good job of kind of reading what the Capitao was doing. So if you saw what he did, you know, he's going for the kill there, and you're kind of wrapping around to, you know, form that pinch on the Vigil. So that was a good read there. My only real gripe towards the later end of that round was recognizing, you know, the spots that needed to be filled, right? Like Thermite rotated main stairs, Capitao's holding blue to an extent, and then, you know, the only place Vigil could be is west main or in wine, somewhere in that area. Ooh, kind of a big mistake here. This happens a lot, and I'm sure some of you might have experienced it, but peeking the piano double door without shooting the blue default happens quite a bit on this map. So make sure you get rid of that info from the enemy, so that way you don't have to, you know, potentially expose yourself to a piece of information, then you die from it, right? Just from pre-fire or whatever it might be. So, yeah. Okay, so here, you hear and see your teammate go for plant. So that's very, very nice that you kind of cut off this rotation here. I would like to see you use your Zofia stuns just to be a little bit more suppressive. Ooh, okay, so the situation's kind of not looking very PogChamp currently. So a huge thing that a lot of people don't use on Zofia is her Zofia stuns. Like, it's such a good piece of utility for information, and people just overlook them or forget about them all of the time. So really make sure that you're using those Zofia stuns to your advantage. And then here also, another common mistake that I see quite a bit, and, you know, sometimes I make this mistake and my teammates or whatever it might be, but when you get site control as an attacker and all of this stuff, you don't always need to just go for the plant right away. Even when there's an echo on the board, you know, this should be something that you're considering for your plant setting up the bomb site. You have 1 minute and 5 seconds left, and you're being caught out trying to, you know, plant the diffuser or whatever. I understand retrieving it, you know, gaining access to the diffuser once again as the attackers is really important, because that's one of the 2 steps for planting is, you know, having the diffuser. So getting the diffuser in this situation, I completely understand, but when you're not communicating with your teammate, hey, can you cover me for plant, all of that stuff, like he's on K9 balcony, and, you know, you're in the bomb site trying to plant. So there's a lot of miscommunication and stuff going on here. And that ties into the information as well. You have 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Use that time to your advantage. Get information. You know that the Jaeger is below. He just shot at you through the floor. And then he, you know, now we know he rotated up fireplace stairs. But use this information, or sorry, this time to your advantage to gather the information, right? You don't always need to just go when you have site control as an attacker. Set up the bomb site, make the enemy make the mistakes for you, so that way you can capitalize on them instead of you trying to force them to make a mistake. Just let them do what they're going to do, and they will eventually slip up at one point, and then you catch them off guard with that slip up. Okay, so this is something to consider, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about Thatcher being in play, right? So when Thatcher's in play, and, you know, you're placing ADSs, magnets, Maestro cams, whatever, you're going to be placing this utility a little bit different, just so that way you can avoid the proximity of the Thatcher EMP. So if Thatcher's up and you're playing Jaeger in this situation, you wouldn't put your ADSs right on the drone hole next to the breach where they're going to EMP, right? Because then that would disable the Thatcher, or sorry, the Thatcher EMP would disable the ADS, as well as the bandit batteries and whatever utility is also next to the wall. So this is stuff that you need to think about, and you need to try to avoid when Thatcher's in play. And this is why I brought up the point of leaving Thatcher open some games, so that way you kind of have the reps of knowing what to do, how to place on utility a little bit differently, and how a round is played when Thatcher is, you know, up on the board and the attackers might bring him, right? Because that's why Thatcher's brought a majority of the time, is because he makes attacking 25% faster across the board, right? With, you know, just disabling ADSs, disabling wall denial, all that stuff. It just makes everything faster and a lot more efficient for the attackers. So this is something that definitely needs to be considered when he is up on the board and you're bringing some sort of electronic utility. See, like right there, you hear the EMP go off. This Thatcher just disabled 2 bandit batteries and 2 ADSs. That's huge for 1 EMP. There needs to be more utility trade there. You need to make the attackers work for what they want. Okay, so I will say here, in this situation, you don't really need to be the aggressor on the angle just because the attacker only has 1 angle to jump into. And now they're jumping in Mudroom, I believe, which is going to be to your left. Don't need to shoot that drone quite yet. I would watch your Mudroom, though. Maybe what I heard was the barbed wire, then. Maybe I'm mistaken. But either way, you don't need to be the aggressor in this situation. Just because you as the roamer, by, you know, halfway through the round, we're almost at halfway. We're at 1 minute and 39 seconds, so pretty much there. But either way, if you're kind of scot-free upstairs roaming in this situation, you can play the late flank. Like, you don't need to be on the bomb site or, you know, being the aggressor. This is where a lot of people mix up roaming, is they always think they need to apply the pressure to the attackers. You don't always need to do that. And especially the Zofia here, you don't necessarily need to peek her on blue stairs. Because, you know, at this point, she's pinched between blue, which is the bomb site, and you. So if you just hold a much more passive angle, or just let her know that you're there, you can use that to your advantage, so that way she makes the mistake of either pushing into you or pushing into the Goyo. Which, you know, again, she's stuck. She can't really do much without one of you two dying, which you ended up dying, which allows her to, you know, rotate out for free now. So you don't always need to just be the aggressor in roaming and stuff like that. As long as the attackers know that you're there and you're applying some sort of pressure, and you're kind of playing this mind game of, they know I'm here, but they don't know when I'm going to push or what I'm going to do. But by you peeking there, you pretty much allow the Zofia to predict everything that you're doing, and it ended up getting you killed, right? And now that's blue control given up. That's a refrag there by the Goyo, though. And I didn't want to comment about this until later on, but get on cams. You know, if you're not coordinating your teammates for something, or, you know, attack or defense or positioning or whatever, there's really no need for you to spectate them. So get on cams. You know, that one piece of information could be the difference maker of the round. Even if it's a cam on the other side of the bomb site or outside of the map, you'd never really know what the attackers are doing or the enemy is doing unless you get the info, right? So it's very important that you do get that info. All right, but that is going to be the end of the VOD review. If you guys enjoyed or learned anything new from it, make sure you guys leave a like and consider subscribing. We're getting very, very close to 50k subs, so make sure you sub if you have not already. I also want to mention that the VOD form is still open, as I mentioned previously in the intro of the video. So if you guys want to submit your VODs, there's a link to it down below in the description. So make sure you guys go check that out if you are interested. And there's also links to all of my social media down below if you guys want to follow me on other platforms, maybe keep up to date, as well as a link to my coaching service. So if you guys are interested in a VOD review like this one here, but that is private, you can go check that out. I also have different coaching packages, a whole bunch of different packages. So if you guys are interested, there's a link to that down below. But I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.